Welcome to the Butterfly Effect. I'm Chris Horner. Today is stage 2 of Paris-Nice. Today's stage, 163 kilometers, just over 100 miles, and they're going to finish in Fontainebleau. Now, I remember Fontainebleau back in the day because I used to live just south of Paris in Étampes, and at times I used to ride my bike over the Fontainebleau, and one day I was going up to Paris, going to catch some of the version original movies up there, and I'm leaving Paris at about 1 a.m. and it took me like 3 hours to find my home. I got lost so many times. Ended up in Fontainebleau, and then luckily, because I know the training roads from Fontainebleau to Étampes, I was able to take my Peugeot 205, my borrowed Peugeot 205, on the small country roads back over to Étampes from Fontainebleau. So I have fond memories of Fontainebleau. Now let's get into racing. Not super exciting to begin with, but it looks like it could be when the cameras come on because the peloton's split in two pieces. But there's only one rider up the road, so how fast could it be going with just one Jonas Grego up there from X again? Now he's going to get KOM points, and that's going to put him in the KOM jersey, and he's going to get the most aggressive jersey out of today's stage when it's all done. But he's going to get caught with about 55 kilometers to go. And then at 40 kilometers to go, we're going to see a crash from Total Energies' Latour. Now, Latour's a good guy here to keep an eye on for the general classification. So Total Energy are going to do a big-time effort to get back to the back of the peloton. Takes a little bit of help from AG2R, the other French team coming by. We see the mechanic stick his head out the window there. You know he's yelling, "Get on the back of the car, and we'll take you guys up." We see Total Energy do that, and they get back to the train there of the cars behind the peloton. Now, the peloton up front's curb to curb, and it's nervous all day long here, but clearly they weren't going full gas. Total Energy will slide back on after about 10 kilometers of chasing. Now, with about 20 kilometers to go, we start getting into these small little French towns. I remember these ones up on the plateau. There's nothing up there, just a few buildings you'd go through, and it'd just be a little chicane all the way through the town, and then you pop out the other side. And when we see the peloton shooting through these towns with 20K, they're curb to curb using all the real estate from gutter to gutter as they enter, go through, and exit these small towns. Now, things start getting exciting with about 15 kilometers to go because guess what? It's time to go for bonus seconds. And it's 6-second bonus seconds on today's stage 2 at these midway sprint points with about 13 kilometers to go. Now, I thought for sure we'd see the sprinters come up here, right? 6-second time bonus could put you in the race leader's yellow jersey at the end of today's stage. Could also keep time bonuses away from Tadej Pogačar, who's a big-time GC favorite. But guess what's happening? With about 1.5 K to go before, we're going to see UAE team members have a little discussion, looking side to side at each other. And now it's time to accelerate from the right side of the road to the left side of the road. And they're going over the top of Jumbo-Visma, who had that left side of the road locked up until UAE team members start their acceleration. Van Hooijdonk doesn't like it at all. This is going to be Jumbo-Visma's plan to try to thwart some 6-second time bonuses away from Tadej Pogačar. We see Van Hooijdonk, he's bumping hard with Grosschartner, who went down in yesterday's stage 1 crash. He'll push Grosschartner out of the way, and then UAE team members are going full gas on the front. Next up in line, though, for Jaco Alula is Michael Matthews. Michael Matthews comes from the right to the left, and he'll bump with Van Hooijdonk, too. This time, Van Hooijdonk gets a hard bump to Michael Matthews as you see them separate and part ways. Up front, UAE team members are throwing in their big-time last acceleration for Tadej Pogačar, and then he accelerates off the wheel. He's got Van Hooijdonk second. Third's Michael Matthews, and then as the sprint starts, all of a sudden, Tadej Pogačar looks like he's going to wrap up 6-second time bonuses behind Michael Matthews does an acceleration, but looks kind of half-hearted. It's enough to get around Van Hooijdonk, but not enough to catch Tadej Pogačar, who gained 6 more seconds on today's stage 2 sprint time bonus here. Now, third on the sprint will be Van Hooijdonk. Jonas Vingegaard didn't even try on today's stage, but I can't understand it when I'm looking at this finish, at this sprint finish here for the 6-second time bonus. Where was Mads Pedersen? Why doesn't he sprint? Michael Matthews sprint, but then gave up and looked like he backed off. They even fist bumped after. Tadej Pogačar smiling about getting 6 more seconds, 12 seconds padding against Jonas Vingegaard when you add yesterday's 6-second time bonus in. And this puts him into the hot seat. Basically, he's wearing the race leader's virtual jersey at this point in time, which is making me a little bit proud because yesterday I had a mistake on the airs when I talked about how the team time trial position would start. Come to find out today when I'm tuning in to GCN, there we hear Sean Kelly talk about how it's going to start the position by team classification, not individual classification, unless you're first wearing the yellow jersey. So at this point in time, Tadej Pogačar is first wearing yellow jersey, so they may start last on tomorrow's team time trial stage. Now, we've got to come down to the finish to decide exactly the order of tomorrow's team time trial. But as we get further into the stage with about 5 kilometers to go, that's when things start getting exciting again and the pace really starts picking up here at stage 2. We'll see all the teams lined out at the front with Bahrain Victorious up there, Lotto up there, and DSM. Then with 3.5 kilometers to go, Trek Segafredo, Lotto, and EF Education out front. But it looks like it's chaos happening throughout the peloton with 3.5 kilometers to go. With just under 3 kilometers to go, now things are getting exciting. I want to point out something because race leader Tim Miller in the race leader's yellow jersey, he's a little bit misplaced, a little too far back in the peloton, and we'll see Florian Sénéchal come back and get him. Now we look at the picture from the front. Florian Sénéchal, Tim Miller, basically at the front of the peloton again. They'll meet up. They got Trek Segafredo a little bit to the left, but they'll meet up again with some more teammates. And then a little more chaos starts to happen as we see the quick-step rider leading out Florian Sénéchal. He moves a little bit to the right, and then all of a sudden they get pinched off again. Florian Sénéchal decides to go left, and this keeps Tim Miller at the front of the peloton. Up front, we see Jumbo-Visma's up on the left side of the road with Affini and Olaf Koy locked in on each other's wheel. So we know Affini's the main lead-out man for Olaf Koy. With about 1.1 kilometer to go, there's an island in the road, and this island's going to separate the peloton. On the right side, all the riders that chose to go there are going to come up wrong on today's stage because it's the Movistar rider Gregor Mollberg that's flying up on the center by the island there, and as he passes the front of the peloton on the right side of the road, he's going to look back over his shoulder. He's going to drift all the way to the right side of the road and then cause a crash there on the right side of the island. That's going to shut down any hopes over there. And we see Quick-Step lose 2 guys, one at the front and one's hopping on the island there. That means when the cameras come back to the Quick-Step riders, we see that Florian Sénéchal and Tim Miller separate. Tim Miller is way too far back and Florian Sénéchal is about 4 guys in front of him. Now, things are starting to get interesting because we're coming up to the roundabout. That's going to be about 600 meters to go. So now we're at between 800 and 900 meters to go. Affini's going full gas on the front. Little bit of bumping going on with Trek Segafredo as Alex Kirsch is bumping with Olaf Koy. And then we see just behind, it's Mads Pedersen bumping with EF Education as we're getting ready to go into this roundabout. Now, I want to take another picture as the roundabout starts proper because all of a sudden on the right side of the road, Bora Hansgrohe, Danny Van Poppel's there, and Sam Bennett. They're going to enter into the roundabout. We look at the front. It's Affini that's doing an amazing lead out through the roundabout. When we look further back, though, to the right side of the road, Sam Bennett is getting pinched off. He's hitting the brakes hard as he's getting squeezed off of Danny Van Poppel's wheels. They're going to come through the left part of the roundabout, swing through the little chicane of the roundabout, and then exit left. Now, when we look up front, as they exit the roundabout, man, Affini has done an amazing job. He's still at the front. We see a little bit of shuffle, though, as it went through the roundabout because now it's the Trek duo of Alex Kirsch sitting on his wheel and Mads Pedersen. Olaf Koy, though, he's happy because he's sitting 5th wheel just on the Lotto Destiny rider's wheel. And then once they exit the Lotto Destiny rider, he knows he doesn't have a sprinter with him. As he looks over his shoulder, he realizes he doesn't, pulls hard right and opens up the gap on Olaf Koy. Now up front, Affini's going full gas. Behind Danny Van Poppel, he's about 7 guys back there, and he starts his sprint with about 400 meters to go as they exit the roundabout. But up front, Affini's going full gas at this moment. 400 meters to go. We look back, Danny Van Poppel is flying, and he's closing the gaps with a lot of speed. 300 meters to go. Guess what? Alex Kirsch starts his sprint, comes off of Affini's wheel, who did an amazing job. Basically, 1.5 all the way to 300 meters to go. Well done, Affini. As he pulls off hard left, Alex Kirsch is going hard down the center. Now, all of a sudden, 250 meters to go. Danny Van Poppel is flying and passing everyone. He's got the lead here. Then all of a sudden, with 200 meters to go, now we're seeing Mads Pedersen come off of Alex Kirsch's wheel, and he starts his sprint. He's side by side with Danny Van Poppel, and Van Poppel's realizing at 150 meters to go as he looks backwards. man, you don't got Sam Bennett on your wheel. I mean, you did an amazing job to be at the front, but you got to have your sprinter with you. If you back up all the way to the roundabout, I never saw him once look back, but maybe the cameras missed it. Now he's looking back at 150 meters to go, realizes he's jumped too soon, he's wasted too much energy, and he doesn't have a sprint. So that's it for Danny Van Poppel. He pulls off. At that same moment as he was looking back, Olaf Koy, Jumbo-Visma, was flying up the left side of the road. Now all of a sudden we have a 3-rider drag race at the front with about 100 meters to go, because you got Olaf Koy, then you got Mads Pedersen, and Dan McClay, Arceus Samson, coming out of nowhere. I don't even remember how he got up here to the front, but it's a 3-way drag race with 100 meters to go. 50 meters to go. All of a sudden, it's Mads Pedersen and Olaf Koy almost coming together with elbows. They didn't quite touch, but look just behind them, splitting the wheels back there. It's Magnus Kort Nielsen, EF Education. Didn't see where he's come from either, but he is up here boxing with these guys as he's splitting down the middle there. With 25 meters to go, they'll part ways. Those two riders, Mads Pedersen going straight down the center, left side of the road. Olaf Koy, it's going to be a bike throw. Mads Pedersen will win today's stage 2. Olaf Koy gets second on the stage. Magnus Kort Nielsen, who just rode between the middle of those guys all the way into the finish, pips Dan McClay for third to take a podium here on stage 2, and Dan McClay for Arceus Samsic fifth on the stage. Now, it was a crazy finish. This was the kind of stage that Mads Pedersen loves. This is when he really comes into his own, when there's chaos all over the place and not that full sprint train at front. So he wins today's stage to take another stage win here at Paris-Nice and to put himself into the race leader's yellow jersey. Now, I got to go back to that time bonus, because afterwards, Olaf Koy had an interview and he said, Jumbo-Visma were almost perfect on today's stage. And I got to disagree with this, because when you're giving up 6-second time bonuses to Tadej Pogačar and your Olaf Koy on a flat stage, okay, yesterday's mountain climb, 500-meter climb up to the bonus seconds was maybe a little bit different story. But today, a flat stage, you have Olaf Koy on Jumbo-Visma, but you're using Nathan Van Hooijdonk to battle against Tadej Pogačar, who can't sprint. Olaf Koy should have been able to go up there and take those sprint time bonuses away from Tadej Pogačar, no problem. And when I look at every other sprinter just giving away those time bonuses, anybody that was there in the top 10 on yesterday's race, if you take 6-second time bonuses today and something crazy happens at the end of today's stage, like we saw at just over 1 kilometer to go with that crash down the split from Gregor Milbury, when you get action like that and there's no full control at the front, anyone could be in the race leader's jersey. Remember, Tadej Pogačar was wearing yellow until we come into the final and cross that line to decide who's going to put who into the race leader's yellow jersey. Mads Pedersen, he has the race leader's yellow jersey and will go into the team time trial tomorrow. But could he have had a bigger lead going into the time trial tomorrow to be able to defend it in the team time trial? Could Michael Matthews, who looked like basically he was almost helping Tadej Pogačar take time bonuses up there and at that 13-kilometer mark to go? That didn't make any sense to me. So when Olaf Koy talks about how they were perfect today, I got to disagree. I think the tactics were wrong. You should have been able to beat Tadej Pogačar for those bonuses. Now, tomorrow's stage, team time trial, we know the order is going to be a little bit different, and it's total chaos, really, when they're trying to explain how it's going to finish. Best scenario, I could say, looks like Trek Segafredo goes off last because they're wearing the race leader's yellow jersey, but then it's all done on team classification. So Jumbo-Visma will go off after UAE Team Emirates, which means they get the time splits from UAE Team Emirates to know if they need to pick up their speed. It's kind of a little bit of chaos because first rider across the line will decide who wins the team stage tomorrow, but each individual's rider's time when they cross the line will go towards their general classification, if I've read the rule books correctly, and I may not have, so you might have to look it up yourself. Anyways, going to be a big, important stage in tomorrow's team time trial, stage 3 of Paris-Nice. So like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys real soon.